Hey everybody, Kartik Subramaniam over at ADHI Schools. Welcome to our podcast. Something was on my mind here recently, and I wanted to talk about this very important concept of ownership. Ownership of anything. Because I think there's a trend in the world, particularly among millennials, where people feel, younger people anyway, and I'm kind of in a unique position with my age because I am right on the cusp of being a millennial and not being a millennial, right? Like I'm within like days. So I have a lot of characteristics of this generation, and I have a lot of characteristics of my personality of the prior generation, kind of just because of when I was born and the environment I grew up in. Somebody who I really look up to and I truly enjoy his videos a lot, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. To a lesser extent, there's a gentleman, Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there is a growing sentiment among a lot of business thought leaders that says buying a house is for suckers. Even Tony Robbins wrote an article here, was interviewed by CNBC, about why homeownership might not be right for everyone. And I couldn't disagree more, because homeownership provides stability. If you want to talk about this from a purely financial perspective, at least you lock in your mortgage payment. Your housing expense is locked in for 30 years if you get a 30-year fixed loan. If you rent, there is a virtual guarantee that your rent will go up for the rest of your life. It is not a hedge against inflation. How lovely would it be if you go back 30 years, let's say to 1988, a big house payment in 1988 might have been like $1,900. If you were upper middle class, you might have had a payment of $1,800, $1,900, $2,000 a month for a really nice house in a really nice area. Imagine if you had a $1,900 house payment now in Los Angeles. Forget the interest rate, forget the terms of your loan. But eventually you know that you're not going to have a housing expense as long as you don't treat your house like a damn ATM machine and refinance the hell out of it every 3, 4, 5 years as you get more equity. If you just keep plugging along, making your payment every month, you have certainty. And in life, one of the most scary feelings, I think, is having a feeling of uncertainty. But if you own a home, as you construct some life for yourself, if you own a home, your housing payment, you'll at least have certainty in that. But there's, I think, a huge sort of shift in a lot of things in life where people don't want to own anymore. As an example, a lot of people lease their cars now and not buy them. They want a new car every 3 years. A lot of people, by the way, Cadillac recently announced a service called Cadillac Book. You can Google that. Basically, how Cadillac Book works. Now, it was first launched in New York for $1,500 a month. Basically, you pay Cadillac $1,500 a month, and you can have access to their entire fleet of cars. Insurance is included. All you got to do is put gas in it. You can drive an Escalade, a CTSV, an ATS, whatever you want. You don't own it though, but you'll have access to their fleet of cars. Now, that's starting in LA here, and now the price, if you Google Cadillac Book in Los Angeles, you'll see that the price is now $1,800 a month. But for $1,800 a month, you have access to their entire fleet of cars. I think you can switch up to like 18 times a year, and insurance is included, and you have unlimited miles. So you want to go to Vegas for the weekend with your friends? Cool, get a big Escalade. You're driving around yourself for a couple weeks, just going from appointment to appointment. You can have a CTSV coupe. Thing does 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. It's a beast. But you don't own anything. That is appealing to a lot of people. Why would I own a car, right? I'll just pay Cadillac Forget Cadillac. Even that, a lot of people don't want. A lot of people just say, screw a car. I'll just Uber everywhere. I don't need to actually own anything. I don't need to own a car. So I think there's 100 examples of this. I don't want to make this podcast too long, but a lot of people have the philosophy these days of not wanting to own anything. They just want to use it and throw it away. Look at even the software I use and my team uses to edit our videos that we do. So long time ago, when I first started doing YouTube videos, I had literally a $7,000 editing machine with Final Cut Pro, and I bought everything. Now, the software that a lot of people use is a software called Adobe Premiere. Nobody buys Adobe Premiere. You pay Adobe a little bit of money every month, and you can use their software. And if you don't want to use it anymore, you just stop paying. You don't own the software. You just pay them every month, and you use it when you need it. And if you don't want to cut videos anymore, you just stop the subscription. So again, I got 100 examples of this. Nobody really, and by the way, in some instances, it's a good thing. A lot of people back in the day would have a big DVD collection of all the movies that they bought. Now, you don't need that DVD collection. You have Netflix, and you have all the movies that you might want to watch at your fingertips. Even with music. A long time ago, 15, 20 years ago, if you wanted a big music collection, you'd go to the Warehouse or any of these other record stores or Amoeba Music or Virgin Records, and you'd drop, $18 per CD and blow your whole paycheck on a music collection. Now, you got Spotify, you got Pandora, you have ways that you can basically, even YouTube, you basically have ways that you can have your entire music collection in your pocket without spending the money and without having to lug around all these CDs and without actually owning. So in some ways, it's good not to own and just use, but real estate, a home, is not one of those things. Homeownership provides stability of income. It provides certainty. Plus, if I want a dog, I don't want to have to call my landlord and ask my landlord if it's okay if I bring a dog home. No, I want a dog. It's my house, right? So there's a lot of instances where owning things is useful. Real estate is definitely one of those things. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Don't forget to comment below. Share this video, like, and subscribe if you liked it, if you're watching this on YouTube. Connect with me on Instagram. I'd love to get to know you and see what you're up to on Instagram, and we'll catch you on the next one.